yet another shocking and confusing move for the streaming service, Netflix has decided to cancel Daredevil after its third and successful season. The third season got a rating of 8.7 out of 10 on IMDb, and is considered to be one of the best and most popular season out of them all. This is coming off the heels of the previous show, Iron Fist, which was the least successful out of them all. Iron Fist received a score of 6.7 out of 10, obviously not as good as the previous series. The first season was criticized by both fans and critics, following with the second season receiving a high score. Therefore, it was no surprise that this series was canceled. But we all forget the shocking and surprising cancellation of Luke Cage, the hero from Harlem with the unbreakable skin. At first, when both Luke Cage and Iron Fist got canceled, my theory was that they were trying to combine the heroes to make the comic series Heroes for Hire. And in my opinion, that would have helped out Iron Fist's ratings and give the Marvel Cinematic Universe of Netflix a much more diverse tone. So why was it that Netflix decided to cancel their own Marvel Cinematic Universe? The fans have speculated that Netflix's MCU is having problems with Disney due to them releasing a streaming service in 2019. But I don't think it goes that far. Many people like myself believe that Netflix was not pleased with the analytics that these seasons provided. Even Daredevil's analytics, while being acknowledged by Netflix's spokespeople, were not the best enough to satisfy them. An anonymous spokesman from Netflix said, "We are tremendously proud of the show's last and final season. And although it's painful for the fans, we feel it is best to close this chapter on a high note." All right, I have with me Zack Mullings. He is a beat reporter, Marvel expert of this situation. So, Zack, what do you think about this? And have you ever watched Netflix series on the Defenders, Luke Cage, the Marvel Cinematic Universe?
I have, and I was actually very, very shocked to hear that they would cancel Daredevil. I was kind of blown away. I actually screamed. But yes, I love them all, except for Jessica Jones. But I have watched the rest. I love the Defenders. Punisher, probably one of my favorites. I love them all. Yeah.
Have you seen the third season of Daredevil? Not the Defenders, but Daredevil?
I have not. I've been trying to get around to watching it with my friend, but we never have time.
That's okay, man. Yeah. That's cool. What do you think about them canceling and shutting down their own universe for Marvel?
Well, if that is the case, I'm very shocked because they started something, you know what I mean? They I don't know. I'm the kind of person that's when you start something, you got to finish it. Mm-hmm. And for them to completely just uproot an amazing universe, I think is ridiculous.
I think you're right too, because it's they've really had something going with Jessica Jones, Daredevil, Luke Cage, and Iron Fist, and they really had something going with that, and to see them just shut it all down without them at least finishing the series or anything like that, to at least see them go their separate ways and then just cancel the whole series off of that would have been fine, but they didn't even bother to finish the series, and all just because the analytics weren't really sufficient for them.
Yeah.
Now, for the fans, I don't understand it. I don't know if the fans really had any indication on what their analytics are. I mean, no viewership was ever released, no viewership was posted, but yeah. So, what did you think of the other superheroes like Luke Cage, Iron Fist? I know you didn't see Jessica Jones, but just tell me about Luke Cage
them.
And Iron
oh
Fist.
My gosh, Luke Cage and the Punisher, for sure, one of my absolute favorites. I didn't know anything about the characters before these shows. I know I'm a bad nerd, but watching them, I fell in love with these characters, and I think they blew me away. Iron Fist, I thought was okay. I didn't really think it was good or bad. It was definitely something fun to watch, but I
hated the ending of Iron Fist.
Yes, for sure.
I hated the ending of season 2, and I'm not going to spoil it for anyone who didn't see it, but I did not like the ending of season 2 for Iron Fist. I'm just gonna let you know that
was now. Me with Luke Cage. I despised the ending of season 2.
You despised it? Why?
I did not like it whatsoever because I feel like Luke Cage is
be careful with the spoilers for those who didn't see it.
Is more of a wholesome guy, you know what I mean? And for him to do the thing that he's been opposed of for a season and a half, to me, I just think is a little ridiculous.
What? No way, because that's like that in the comic though. They did exactly what he does in the comic, and how it happened is like this is Harlem. This is what Harlem is, whether this happens or not. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like it's really good to see that he took that approach in the second season.
I don't know. Just me personally, I don't know. I just don't think that's him as a person. I don't know. That's
what about like I said? What about Danny Rand and the Iron Fist? Like about Danny Rand's character and the ending on season 2, if you've seen it.
So I only made it halfway through the first season of Iron Fist because
dude, nobody made it through the first episode.
I actually was not that interested in it. But I mean, they had something good going. I just think if they chose maybe a better actor to be Iron Fist, it would have been more intriguing. I don't think he can act all that well, but that's just me. I don't know.
You know what? Maybe he might have been a little bit more calm and collected, but keep in mind he plays as a martial artist. And so martial artists sometimes have to be calm and collective, and I think that's what he's trying to take that approach. Because the Danny Rand in the comic, he's a little bit more energetic and energized, and I can understand where they were going with that. But at the same time, it's just like there are some changes that are necessary, and there's changes that aren't necessary. And I think they changed what they changed with Danny Rand was fine.
Yeah.
Okay, well, what do you think about, Disney? Do you think they had anything to do with this being canceled? Meaning that they own or their partnership with Marvel, whatever it is these days, they say own, they say partnered, whatever.
I definitely do think that they are 100% behind this. The fact that they purchased, like they spent so much money on buying the Marvel Universe, like without actually buying it. They bought the company that owns the Marvel Universe.
Okay.
Just the fact that they're trying to like take whatever's doing successful, I guess, in social media or like in the social world,
right,
and make it like their own. So I definitely do think that they are behind this because they want all Marvel shows, I guess, to be on their new platform. I definitely think that's the case. Yeah.
When it comes to Disney, they can be stingy sometimes with some of their stuff, especially when they now own Lucasfilm and now they're trying to do things in their own way for Star Wars. Because, like I said, Catherine Kennedy, I think she's while she probably is a good person, I think she's a terrible president for Lucasfilm, and that's my opinion. You've seen what she did with The Last Jedi, and The Last Jedi, like I said, in my opinion, that was the worst of the Star Wars series, and it's either that or the Attack of the Clones. But I'm getting a little off topic. But like I said, man, it's just I think it's because of I do agree with you in that sense, but I think it's a little bit more in that, because I think maybe when you have a streaming service, analytics really do matter a lot, especially because it's not like a regular, TV station. It's all digital. Yeah. It is all digital. And so when it comes to digital platforms, you need analytics. You need to really be watchful of that. And if your analytics are not sufficient enough for your needs and your satisfaction for the company, then you got to obviously make some hard decisions. Whether people, employees, fans like them or not, you have to make the harder decision. You know what I mean? So as a fan of this area, what do you assume the plan would be for Sony? Because Sony has some stuff with Marvel. They're doing a movie, Spider-Man Into the Spideyverse, and then they did Venom, which was a really good film. Do you think it's going to affect Sony at all? If after, because while Netflix is a streaming service and Sony is starting to be a streaming service, they're making movies right now. Not TV shows, not anything like that, just movies. Yeah. So do you think what happened with Netflix will happen with Sony eventually? Because we can all take back to 2012, back in 2012, 2014 with Spider-Man and Andrew Garfield and how they shut down his series. They didn't even finish up with that. They didn't even let him finish up with that series. They canceled it and moved Spider-Man to the official MCU with Tom Holland as the younger and newer Spider-Man. So what do you think about Sony and about what's going on?
So Sony, it kind of does like their own thing, you know what I mean? Like once they've done a superhero enough, they kind of just like lose them in a sense is what basically happens. So like I don't like I think I don't think they'll be affected by this. I think they'll just move on to another superhero, maybe do a couple movies, and then eventually Disney will come in and swoop them up like they did with Spider-Man. But yeah, I don't think Sony will be affected by this too much. Just eventually, I think they will run out of superheroes if that's even possible.
If not Sony, then who else? Because their other Fox is doing the I think it's called the New Mutants. I never saw the TV show, but
yeah.
It's not. I don't think it's the new. It's something that has to do with X-Men.
Yeah.
And it's an X-Men spinoff. I never seen the show, so excuse me if I don't know what I'm. If I don't seem like I know what I'm talking about. But do you think shows like that, and then the Runaways as well? That might also get shut down too. So.
Well, so I don't think they'll get affected right away. I definitely do think they will get affected eventually. Like maybe they'll come out with a couple seasons, but eventually I do think. Again, Disney will come in and take it over because it's Marvel. It's a part of their brand in a sense. So yeah.
Okay. Well, thank you, Zach, for being here, and we'll be back. The upcoming seasons of Jessica Jones and The Punisher will be released, but feel like they will not last, as possibly they might share the same fate. And there is no indication that Marvel continues their plans with Disney Plus, or what legalities lie in the existing seasons to reside on their platform. I'm Donny Dark, and we'll be back with you shortly.